Welcome all. Global markets ended August in turmoil amid worries of the United States potentially dipping into a cyclical recession. Experts, however, are arguing that while the data flow is in very rosy, it must be read with some perspective. Goldman Sachs on Monday increased the probability of a US recession in the next year to 25% from 50% previously. However, it noted several reasons to remain optimistic. The premise of our forecast is that job growth will recover in August and FOMC will judge 25 BPS cuts a sufficient response to any downside risk. Bloomberg quoted Goldman Sachs economists as saying, the economists added that they are skeptical the labor market is at risk of deteriorating rapidly in part because job openings indicate demand remains solid and there has been no obvious shock to spark a downturn. They highlighted that the economy appears stable overall with no major financial imbalances, and the Federal Reserve has the flexibility to cut interest rates if necessary. The fears of a US recession stem from slower than expected job growth in July and a rise in the unemployment rate to 4.3%. Non-farm payrolls increased by only 1,14,000 jobs, well below the forecast of 1,75,000. Factors like Hurricane Beryl likely contributed to the disappointing figures. The labor market slowdown is driven by low hiring rather than layoffs as the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes in 2022 and 2023 dampened demand. Despite wage growth being above the Fed's 2-point inflation target, the employment report strengthens the case for a September rate cut. In 2024, job reductions in the US and Canada persist despite diminishing recession fears as the Federal Reserve's stance on interest rate cuts remains uncertain. The US has seen an unexpected rise in the unemployment rate, sparking debate among economists about the possibility of an upcoming recession. Data released on Friday shows the unemployment rate jumped to 4.3% in July, the highest in nearly 3 years, up from 4.1% in June and a five-decade low of 3.4% in April last year. This significant increase may prompt the Federal Reserve to consider cutting interest rates in its September meeting. It is often said that if the US sneezes, the world catches cold. Here are some key numbers from the US. Unemployment data. Industry layoffs. In 2024, firms in the US and Canada have continued to reduce their workforce across various sectors, including technology, automotive, financial services, and manufacturing. This trend persists despite diminishing recession fears and uncertainty over the Federal Reserve's stance on interest rate cuts. Housing market concerns. Some experts have warned of a significant insurance gap for wildfire and flood risks, affecting over 17 million homes in the US. This underinsurance poses a potential $1.2 trillion threat to property values. Natural disasters have caused over $120 billion in damages globally this year, with only 62 billion of these losses insured. Most of this uninsured damage occurred in the US, primarily affecting homeowners.